Welcome to the stream. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We're going to be live on the radio in about 90 seconds. All right, so stand by. And, of course, today is Open Phones, Open MAGA Mic Friday. And on Open MAGA Mic Friday, you can talk about anything and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that I bring up on the program, all right? But I'm going to start with Mike Johnson, all right? The calls are already coming in. Now, when I'm doing the show from this studio, when you're on hold, you hear music. You don't hear the radio station. Okay, so we're going to do, come on, at 6:03 and 34 seconds, Mike told me. Okay, so less than a minute to go. I'm going to start with talking about Mike Johnson and the importance of that. There's already people on hold. If you'd like to call in, please do. All right, 30 seconds. Welcome to the program. It is Friday. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Celebrating, it's hard for me to believe when I say this, celebrating 48 years on the radio, the Steve Kane Show. All right, we got a lot to cover today on the radio. It is Open Phones, Open MAGA Mic Friday, which means on Friday's show, you could call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that we bring up on the show. The other 4 days of the week, we try to keep you wrangled to talk about the topics we bring up. And I do have some things I'm going to bring up, but you don't have to talk about anything that I bring up today. The show prep is up to you and the listening audience, all right? Open MAGA Mic Friday. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by, because I want to start talking about today. Today's a big day because I think you could make a very good case that today is the first day of Trump's second term. And what I mean by that is it's the speaker vote for Mike Johnson and, well, or whoever eventually gets it. And President Trump has chosen Mike Johnson, all right? He's endorsed very openly Mike Johnson to be speaker. And we have just a slim majority. I mean, I'm going to play some audio coming up later of different members of Congress. But we have let me tell you, okay? We control the House of Representatives. We control the United States Senate. We control the United States Supreme Court, and of course the presidency of the United States. It's all MAGA, right? It's all Republican. Now, we always have, the Republicans, we always have traitors, a bunch of Benedict Arnolds. And I know there's a lot of people out there that say Mike Johnson's not the best. All I know is this: Donald Trump has endorsed Mike Johnson, and I am going to back whoever Donald Trump backs until he doesn't back them anymore. And then when he doesn't back them anymore, then I'll say, okay, I don't back them anymore. But he's endorsed Mike Johnson. And it's not necessarily who the best person for the job is. I mean, how many jobs in general where you work is held by the best person? Maybe it is. But, you got to look at who's the best person that can get elected, because this is a vote, right? So the best person, there could be 20 other people that would be better, but are they electable, right? I mean, that's the kind of thing you've got to look at. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm going to play her endorsement of Mike Johnson a little later in the program. But Marjorie Taylor Greene not only has come out with an impassioned endorsement of Mike Johnson, she's also come out and said others should get over their issues and support him too. And that doesn't mean that this is going to go down easy when this vote happens. You know, they may have multiple votes. The new thing may be 12 votes like we've had in these past couple of rounds. That may be the new thing where members of Congress like to showboat and, you know, they got the big boy pants on and nobody pushes them around and nobody tells them what to do. And they, you know, they're a free spirit who are just representing their constituents. Okay, you know, let them play their reindeer games, okay, even though Christmas is over. And, you know, but in the end, whoever the speaker is, we want them to be whoever Trump wants them to be, all right? And it is so important for the Republican Party to be united right now. We've got to be united. These divisions need to end. You know, President Trump, we have been advocating. When I say we, I'm talking about you, me, all of us in the MAGA movement have spent 10 years now advocating for Donald Trump. And this second term is going to be what we would have liked the first term to be. First term was great, but things happened so fast. And then we had the lockdowns and shutdowns and all that nonsense. Trump is in place. He's got an incredible team of people. Our country is in crisis. We're under attack right now. Not only are we under attack, we're not getting answers on it. And I'm talking about these terrorist attacks that had New Orleans and Arizona, or Nevada, Las Vegas and Nevada. But we're also under attack in Arizona and all of our southern border with an invasion. We're being invaded by criminals. Our people are being victimized. We have terrorist attacks going on. The rest of us are being victimized by the economy. The Biden-Kamala Harris economy is wrecking so many people's lives. And President Trump is promised everything that President Trump has talked about doing is a big move, big historic moves, every single thing that he's promised to do. And a lot of that, we don't want him to just do executive orders because executive orders can be reversed by the next president, right? They all do that. I'm sure President Trump on the 20th in that week will be reversing a lot of Biden executive orders. They all do it. We need to get things done through the legislative process so they stay in place. So we need to be united. We have to have a united Republican front, a united MAGA front, and stop this petty bickering. You know, this budget that went down a couple weeks ago, you know, listen, the Democrats still run the Senate. They still got the White House with this senile, corrupt old coot, Joe Biden. That's the way it is, all right? They were going to get their budget through. There's nothing we could have done about it. They're going to get their budget through. I knew that before. But what happened? It exposed what they were all about. It was the beginning of opening up the books so Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy with Doge can come in and get the next budget in March right and cut off all this waste. I mean, think about all the hard work you do to pay your taxes, and it's just so corrupt people in the government can give all of your hard-earned money away to Ukraine and God knows what else. No, everything that we want, everything President Trump can do legislatively to be done, guys. We want it that now executive orders will be overturned and reversed. We don't want that. We want things to be permanent. Now, I want to tell you guys about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh my goodness. Friendly Tire in Margate. I've been a customer there for over 15 years. Every car in my family is on the highway on tires from Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, he has thousands of used tires in stock at great prices, but he has new tires, brand new tires, for as low as $70 a tire out the door and on the road. Because remember, Friendly Tire does not charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. The price he quotes you over the phone is out the door and on the road. I'm going to give you his number in a moment. Write it down. Call him. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. He has all the name brands you know and love, Michelin, Goodyear, Pirelli, whatever you like. He can get. If you have run flats like I do on one of my cars, oh boy, run flats, they sound all cool till you got to buy them. You find out how much they are. Not at Friendly Tire in Margate. Run flats are affordable. He can get tires for any kind of vehicle, large or small, even Teslas, even commercial vehicles, all right? So give him a call. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show so you get an extra good deal. He takes very good care of our Steve Kane listeners. His number, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. He also does tire repairs, which other places do not do. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. All right, we're going to take our first break of this Friday. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to go to the phones after the break. Remember, it is open phones, open Mag and Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio for 48 years. Back after this. All right, I got to take care of this for Mike. I'm still doing even though I'm not at the radio station, I am still helping Mike. Helping Mike. Oh, let me turn that off. Helping Mike. Oh, let me turn. Good. This is Mike's weather report. He does the weather, and then I process the audio, and then I'll send it back to him. All right. So far, so good. All right. Welcome. Now, listen, when you call me here in this studio, when you're on hold, you will hear music, not me or the radio station. Okay? So that's that. Maybe a little... You guys will get used to it. I don't worry about it. All right. So Mike's going to tell me what time we are coming back. Okay. 15:19. We come back in 30 seconds. So stand by. We'll be back on the air at 15 minutes and 19 seconds, so I'll come on. At 15:14. Okay, here we go. 14 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. It is Friday. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? First call of the day.
Good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie. What's up?
Yeah, this is Richie.
I know who it is. What's on your mind, Richie?
All right,
You're on the air.
I'm hearing the feedback in the background.
No, I'm not hearing anything.
I'm hearing you in the background after I talk.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't help you with that, but what's on your mind?
All right. Let me. Okay. If you're gonna have to just listen to a little bit of criticism, okay? I enjoy your show. I've enjoyed Steve and you for a long time.
Here comes the butt.
Oh, I'm hearing myself talk back. Can I call you back?
Call me. I'll put you right back on, Richie. I'll put you right back on. This is going to be good. He's building up. He's building up to rip us. Okay. All right. Let's try it now, Richie. All right. You're on the air.
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike. Oh, I thought it might have been Richie already. Hold on, Mike. Richie is going to call in and rip me a new one. So I want to hear this. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. Now I hear you good.
Okay.
I enjoy your show. I think you're great. I
But-
think Steve's great. I've been watching you and listening to you for a long, long time.
All right.
I look, and this is not a criticism because I don't know, because I'm a novice. And I remember when I used to drive a bus, people would tell me how to drive a bus. I'd get ticked off. And I know, I don't know if there's anything you could do about this. When you call somebody, when you're personally calling, say, Florida Powerline or somebody, and they put you on hold and they got music there and you don't know what's going
Richie,
on. Richie,
come on. You're really going to give me grief about that? Can't you have some issues to talk about? Call me off the air about stuff like that.
That's a big issue because what happens is I don't hear you. You don't hear me.
Richie,
you don't hear me. It's dead air.
Well, that's what we're going to have to deal with today. So just move on. If you want to talk about the issues,
you're getting defensive. What I'm trying to tell
there's some things there's some things that you just aren't for the air. There's some things that are not airworthy. I mean, this isn't like a regular. This is like a this is a radio show. Not like a private phone conversation. So not everything is for the air.
All right, because private. I'm not even talking about private. The thing is this: when part of the enjoyment of your show is to listen to you have arguments with people. I'm not talking about toot my own horn. I enjoy listening to the other listeners. When you're on hold and for all this time and listening to the music,
we're doing something a little different today. Everything will be eventually resolved, and Richie Goldilocks will be fine at some point. Anytime, Richie. Listen. Hold on, Richie. You've been following the show and calling longer than almost anybody. So far as a caller goes, You're one of the 3 or 4 longest running callers to the Steve Kane Show. I love
your show.
When you're the longest running radio show on the radio since for 48 years, people die. So then the record changes. We bring in new people, and over the years, you have seen so many changes with the Steve Kane Show, and every time we do one, you complain about it. And then and then it's fine.
You see, you're getting defensive, and you're not going to listen.
I'm listening. I know what you're talking about. I know the phones are open. I'm trying to talk about the issues and stuff, not your personal gripes with these things. I like
to listen. I don't even know the first 15
minutes. All right, Richie. I'm gonna move on. If you want to talk, all right, Richie. All right. Richie just doesn't like our setup that I'm using today. That's just the way it is. What I said to Richie is true, though. We have made so many changes over the years on the show because things change and develop because we've been on so long. And there's not been a single change that Richie has not griped about. He has griped about every single change we have ever made or update we've made to the show, even the smallest. So that's just the way it is. All right, but it is open phones today, open Mega Mike Friday. So, we got to have some quality control. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Is this Brian?
It is, Barbara. Turn the volume down in the back. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, I was listening to Richie while listening to your
music. I know, griping. He's always griping.
I like it. No. I love it because what you heard when you said turn it down, it was YouTube. See, I do this every day. I watch you on YouTube because I'm moving around the house sometimes, or I might be in one room for that period of time. But I get to listen to you on YouTube. I'm listening to your show, and if I wanted to call in, I'll hold on. I like the music and what I wondered was whether or not the music would stop, and I would. Well,
I don't want to make. I don't want to make. I don't want to make.
I know, but I just wanted to let you know.
As much as it's open phones, I don't want to make the show about what you're listening to on hold. It just,
I just wanted to let you know. Okay, look, I just wanted to let you know what.
Well, no, I appreciate your opinion, Barbara. I do.
All right, but I have about this terror attack thing.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, good Lord. I think it's terrible, and I think there's a connection. I think the FBI is a part of the cover-up for this thing. There's something going on that that's just not right about this, and why they were so quick. That little woman that came up there, I saw that interview for the first time yesterday after hearing about it from you. It wasn't just a nose ring. It was the she couldn't even communicate.
Oh, you're talking about the FBI. She took out the nose ring yesterday. She took it out. She didn't have it yesterday.
I would have never thought that woman was an FBI agent. Not her. I mean, just the way she does, like, everything that you said was true. But there's something wrong here. These two guys were both at Fort Bragg. They worked together. They've known each other. They knew each other. They went to the same mosque. So how are they trying to make it seem like this is not something that's coordinated?
Let me ask you, Barbara, has it been confirmed that the white guy from Vegas that with the Cybertruck, he's Muslim? He's Muslim too. Has that been confirmed that he's Muslim? I've seen that, but I have not seen it. I've not seen it confirmed.
They have not confirmed that he's Muslim, but that he did attend the mosque. So
the white guy.
They're white Muslims, and
yeah,
the white guy, and that's for sure. But someone else said something yesterday about people converting to Islam, and the suggestion was made that possibly having people in jail with all this conversion, there needs to be somebody to look at that and monitor what the imams and what they're being taught.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it tends to go unnoticed. Well, they're doing better. With these guys, they're finding religion and changing their life. Yeah, but what are they saying?
Well, no, what I wonder is has our military been infiltrated and now the New Orleans terrorist, he was born Muslim. Okay, his brother gave an interview. It's a Muslim family. He was raised Muslim. But is there?
But he went crazy.
Yeah. Are there radicals inside the military that are recruiting and converting soldiers to not just Muslims but radical Muslims?
I believe so, and that's what Joe Biden has allowed to happen by taking his eye off the ball. His whole administration has taken his eye off the ball. And I'm telling you, I think we should be very aware of our surroundings at all times, because what I heard yesterday from one of the people that was talking about it, that I think knows what he's talking about, is that we can expect more than that. Because I was looking at some other interviews with some of the good people that come on Newsmax with real news, some of these retired military people.
Yeah.
And we need to be aware of our surroundings at all times, not to be afraid to go where you got to go, but be aware of your surroundings. Keep your head on the swivel. And that means anywhere. It doesn't have to be a huge crowd, because you see what happens. I mean, one person with a knife stabs 3 or 4 people at one time. So we just need to be aware of our surroundings. And thank God I do have a carry conceal here. And I feel like I could protect myself if I have enough time.
Yeah.
So, but this is a real serious situation, and I think they're making light of it because they know how serious it is, and they don't want this to be a part of Biden's legacy, but it is.
Well, I'll tell you, when
to be done about that.
When Pete Hegseth comes in as the Secretary of Defense, I'm sure he's well aware of what we're talking about, and then some. There needs to be a major investigation. I have not seen a confirmation that the white terrorist with the Cybertruck was Muslim. I have seen it talked about on social media, so I don't know that that's true or not. I know you've seen it too. Where did you see it?
They went to the same mosque as what I...
That's what they said?
Well, I only listened to Newsmax.
Well, Barbara, I got to run.
I don't go farther than Newsmax.
I got to run for our break,
but... Have a great weekend.
Thanks for the call.
Call it the Richie Show.
Yeah, really,
and
exactly. I like that.
The Richie Show. The Brian and Richie Show.
I like that. I like that. All right, take care. All right, appreciate the call. All right, now if you'd like to call in, it is open phones. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It is Open Mega Mike Friday. I want to remind you guys that there are incredible deals right now for New Year's at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane. Incredible prices site-wide. It's not too early to do your Valentine's Day shopping, I'm here to tell you. Also, free shipping on orders over $75. That's with our promo code Kane at checkout. Some of the lowest prices I've ever seen. The bed sheets, a whole bunch of new colors and patterns are out. if you're looking to get some new sheets. So go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, for incredible deals and free shipping on orders over $75. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be back with more of your calls on Open MAGA Mike Friday. Stay tuned. All right, we're out. Good. See, Richie, I knew Richie would call in great. Richie, I remember when I started live streaming, he had a fit about it when I started live streaming the show. Any time I make a change, or Steve and I make a change, he freaks out. I'll be at the radio station some days and here some days, but it's doing a show like this. It's a funny thing because imagine you're at work, like Richie's a bus driver, or you're in an office. Could you imagine when you're at work, okay, if like Richie's driving the bus, could you imagine if on the windshield of the bus was a live chat and you were hearing from people criticizing you at your work, or if you're in a cubicle, there's thousands of people watching you, and there's a screen where people are criticizing and critiquing how you're doing your job, and they can call you on the phone at any time, and they have nothing to do. They just are watching you work. Could you imagine what that's like? That's what this is like. And, I'm used to it. I don't care. It's the way it is. Okay, so 31:37. Coming back at 31 minutes and 37 seconds from this break. Let's see. $31:37. Okay. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Okay, 31:42, we're going to come back in. There's a delay between me and the radio station, so Mike and I are trying to figure out the delay. If you're on hold, hang in there. No, I don't mind. It's part of the job. That's all. It's just part of the job. It's just I'm used to it. I don't mind. But what Richie likes to do, and sometimes I let him get away with this, which I shouldn't. Rabbi David, actually, last time this happened with Richie a couple weeks ago, Rabbi David called it and he made a good point about it. What Richie likes to do is what's happening right now. He likes to do something and then have us all talking about him and the controversy, It's a narcissistic trait, but that's okay. That's fine. I don't mind. If I minded, I wouldn't go screenless on the calls. I don't mind. People's dysfunctions are interesting. All right, stand by. 30 seconds. 12 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening, of course, to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Crazy, huh? All right, it is Open Mega Mike Friday. I did start talking about Mike Johnson. I'm not finished with that, but we'll take some calls first, all right? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, Brian. It's Danielle from Michigan.
Hey, Danielle, what's up?
Hey, good morning. Just a couple quick comments, not about Richie.
Oh, please.
I just wanted to make one comment. The one thing that's positive that I'm looking forward to is I'm looking so forward to the transparency and all of the goodness that's going to happen once Trump and his administration get in and start to clean house on some of these corrupt, the FBI and all the other three-letter agencies that are giving us so much problems.
Well, you know what a lot of it, I'll tell you what a lot of it is, okay? What a lot of it is this. You guys got to understand, Barack Obama, do you know Barack Obama became president 17 years ago? So that's almost 20 years ago, right? He was president for 8 years.
Correct.
So he did a massive hiring spree. And not only that, they did a lot of recruiting of educators. So the government, the bureaucracy that runs every agency of our federal government is run by these Obamaites. These are permanent people. They're now supervisors because Obama started hiring them 17 years ago. They're running off. They're not appointed. They're career government workers, and they are like Obama. They hate America, and they want to bring America down.
Oh, sure. That's gonna all be dismantled, and I just look forward to with everything that's going on right now. I don't feel that we're being told. I really the last 4 years we've been so lied to.
Oh yeah.
And it's all coming to an end. I'm very positive about it. And in regards, real quick, to today, that I think the vote starts at noon.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to figure it out. We can't get Congress sworn in without a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get it figured out. I'm for Johnson. Whoever Trump is backing, I'm going to stand with them, and that's the way it's going to be. Monday's another important day, so I'm feeling pretty positive. It might go back and forth. You might see some of the people flex their muscle and everything, but they have to remember, we don't work for them. They work for us.
Well, they don't view it that way. They work for their donors, and what a lot. By the way, thanks for the call. Great call. I appreciate it. What a lot of them are really doing when they gripe about Mike Johnson, what a lot of them are really trying to do is get some kind of payoff. They want something from the government. They want some earmarks. They want some promises. They want a committee chairmanship. They want some funding for a donor back in their district, or maybe not in their district, but who supported their campaign. These guys that gripe during these votes and are vocal, really what these members of Congress are looking for is some kind of payoff. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi. We had a conversation yesterday. Just wanted to correct the record.
I don't remember. Can you remind me of the conversation? I don't recall it.
I stated I believe you are a racist.
Oh, all right, yes, I remember that call. Yes. You want to say it again? That I'm a racist, which is absurd.
Okay. All right. I just want to be clear. There's nothing progressive about me, so don't label me a progressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, how dare you? You call me what I believe is one of the worst things you can call someone, a racist. I'm supposed to suck that up, and you're offended that I say that you're a liberal?
Being prologue.
I mean, you gotta butch up a little bit, Snowflake.
Past. Oh, Snowflake, dude, you couldn't live my life.
I know.
You have no idea.
Who wants to live your? I know. Tough life.
Walk in my shoes.
I know. You're a tough guy.
Walk in my shoes.
I heard it the first 4 times.
You're a little short man who is incapable of walking an inch in my shoes.
Oh, I know. You're tough,
And
man.
yes,
I'm so overwhelmed by your
I'm not a
manliness.
tough man, but you know what? I have done more for this country than you could ever do.
All right.
You know what? I don't hide behind a microphone.
Yes, I'm hiding.
In prologue.
I'm hiding, right? Yes.
In
Yes, I'm hiding.
Excuse me?
I'm hiding, right? I'm very public. Hiding. Give me a break. Give me a break.
I can't understand you.
Yeah, I know, because I'm speaking sense. Hey, listen, thank you for the speaking of which, thank you for your call. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I tell you. You know, when I first started taking live calls on the radio, it was like, what? It was so shocking to me, the things that people say and believe, and how they process things in their mind. And after doing it so long, it's so comical. It really cracks me up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
You know, today is swearing day for the Congress, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know for one thing that John Thune is going to be the leader of the majority leader in the Senate, right? Everything else is going to fall in line, including the president pro tem of the Senate. That's going to fall in line. So the Senate is basically out of the way. It's the House, and Trump has made his choice in the House. It's Mike Johnson. We may have our problems with Mike Johnson,
absolutely,
but that's Trump's choice. And look, after the swearing in, they'll probably come and make a few speeches here and there, and then go out for lunch. And then after lunch, they'll come back and take the first few rounds of voting in the House today.
Well, you know, the last couple times we went through this, it seemed like they had, 12 votes for speaker. That might be the new normal, right? That might be the new normal. You know, members of the House of Representatives, being a senator, they're locked in for 6 years, so they're pretty laid back with their feet up on the couch. Members of the House of Representatives, they're since they have to run for re-election every 2 years, they're under tremendous amounts of pressure, and it's almost like with the members of the House of Representatives, it's almost like being a high-pressured salesman working at a car dealership or like a furniture store, where you've got to make your quota every single day. You're under constant pressure. That's what it's like to be in the House. So and I don't know how much it is a week now, but it used to be like in the 90s, the late 80s and early 90s, a member of the House had to raise like $1 million a week just to have enough campaign cash to run for re-election. It's got to be a lot more than that now. I haven't heard anybody use that analogy in a while, so I don't know how much they need now. They make a lot of deals with donors, and by the time they get sworn in and settled into their office, since they got to run every 2 years, they're practically running again. So when they have an opportunity to go out and gripe and say, I'm not going to do this or that, they come to them and start saying, okay, what can we, because we can only lose like 2 votes in this. We only have like a 4-seat majority in the House, right? We can only afford to lose like 2 votes. So if these guys stick to their guns long enough, they'll go to them, the Republican leadership, say, what can we do to get you to vote? And it'll be a variety of things. It'll be some government funding for a donor of theirs, a committee chairmanship that has a lot of power where they can feed things back to their donors. Most members of the House that are griping are looking to be bought off. Not in an illegal way. It's all legal. Congress makes the laws, and they make laws so they can commit crimes, basically. But they're looking to be bought off. They want their vote bought for the speaker. That's what a lot of I'm not talking about anybody in particular. This is both parties anytime there's a conflict. And that's what's going on here. You know, we need to be united right now.
Right, and that's the thing. Mike Johnson, he's the guy that's going to have the most pressure on him.
Yeah.
He's Trump's guy, but he's going to have pressure from the what's left of the old establishment, right?
Exactly.
The old Republican establishment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you've got that going on with Mike Johnson, and look, I agree with you. That's the one job I would not want to have, is that Speaker of the House job.
Oh, no, it's a great job to have. They get treated just like the president. They get their own plane, detail. If you've ever seen the Speaker of the House's office, it's like like they're the king during the days when kings and queens ruled the world. It's a very prestigious job to have.
Sure, and that's the thing. But like I said, this Mike Johnson deal. I mean, if he's got Marjorie Taylor Greene on his side, then it's going to happen. He's going to be the speaker.
Yep. All right. Hey, Mike. Good to talk to you. Take care. Have a great weekend. If you're on hold, stand by. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Open phones every Friday. Monday through Thursday, you got to talk about what Steve and I bring up. But on Friday's show, you can talk about any and everything on your mind. The show prep is up to you guys on Friday. Our number toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this. All right. We are out. Okay. Well, guys, listen, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. All right. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian, and I'm broadcasting on 8 radio stations while I'm live streaming here on YouTube. And we're on a commercial break for the radio right now. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll get to the calls after the break. And by the way, one of our sponsors today is the author Vernon Turner. He was with the NFL for a long, long time. He has this book out, Beyond the Limits. And, of course, it's available for free in Kindle Unlimited. But Beyond the Limits is also available in hardcover, paperback, regular Kindle, and audiobook. There's a link in the description of the video. And he's a great guy, and if you look him up, he made one of the greatest plays that I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. I watched when I was a kid with my stepdad, and he's sponsoring the stream today. Okay, 33. So we're going to come back at 4627. 4627. Yeah, so there's a link to his book in the description of the video. Beyond the Limits, from NFL veteran Vernon Turner. Again, there's a link in the description of the video. He's a good guy. All right. 4627. So we have a minute and 25 seconds, and we're back. This is a green screen. If you watch the other stream, you'll see the real background. You guys on this stream get to see the behind the scenes. Welcome. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. Okay, 1 minute. There we go, 30 seconds. Once we get accustomed to it, I'm just being a little quiet because I want to make sure we get this down right. It's only the second time we've done this. It's a lot quieter here, isn't it? This is the studio where I podcast from. Here we go. Stand by. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Now, this may be the most important question I ask of you today. Do you or someone you know and love suffer from neuropathy? Oh my goodness, guys. I mean, neuropathy is living torture. The symptoms are just god-awful. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, dizziness. Oh, that's really bad. Muscle twitching, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet. Some have no feeling at all. Many people have every single one of these symptoms at the same time. It's awful. And you guys know Steve had neuropathy and he had it bad. And we sought help, and it wasn't that easy to find help for Steve Kane, but we found Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. They have a treatment for neuropathy that works and a treatment that lasts. They rid Steve Kane of his neuropathy 2.5 years ago, and it has not returned. I'm going to give you their number. Give them a call. Make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right? Yeah, get rid of that neuropathy. Get your life back. All right. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on today's show. Our number, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Michael from Palm Beach Gardens.
Hey, Michael. What's up?
The president's position has term limits for like 2 terms. We've got, it's supposed to be the government supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the. It's become of the government, for the government, by the government. Dianne Feinstein was a senator for over 30 years. Pelosi's been representative for 37 years. Maxine Waters, 34 years. What do we have to do to get term limits and get these clubhouse characters out of office?
It's not going to happen. It'll never happen. It'll never happen.
Well,
People have been talking about that. First off, it would involve so many things. One, it's a constitutional amendment. So you would the first thing you would have to do is you would have to get the House and the Senate to pass limits on their own jobs, which seems
like going to do it.
Yeah. So then you do that, and then you got to get 3/4 of the states to agree. It's just not going to. A lot of times there's a lot of issues out there. I'm not saying you're right. I mean, term limits for members of Congress sounds like a good thing. I mean, I saw this video of Pelosi yesterday. They say she looks high. I just think she's senile, like Biden, and is checked out to lunch. But I'm not saying that you're not right, but there's just some things that aren't going to happen. So I don't spend a lot of my time worrying about things that are not going to happen. In this instance, term limit. I'll give you an example. Here on the Steve Kane Show, before Trump came down the escalator, we never talked about the southern border. And a lot of people were, Bill O'Reilly and Michael Savage and stuff. And a lot of listeners would get upset with us for not talking about, this was before the era of Trump, okay? And we told people this, there's no one in Washington who's going to do anything about it, right? So if no one's going to do anything about it, you're talking about a problem that's not going to be resolved. Then Trump came down the escalator and we knew he meant business and would take care of it. A lot of times I talk about this with gun control. Gun control is one of the most absurd topics there is, not only because we have a Second Amendment, it's a constitutional guarantee, but it's never going to happen. If we knew how many guns were really in America, I would say because guns, if most people, our guns, they last. I mean, I have some guns that were my grandfather's, okay, from the 1920s, and they look brand new. And I could take them out to the range or go hunting today if I wanted to with them. They look brand new, and they're about 100 years old. In fact, one of them may be now that we're in 2025, okay? So there's a long shelf life with guns. If we knew how many guns were in this country, a real number, I think it would scare even a lot of strong Second Amendment people. I bet you there could be as many as 1 billion guns in America. It would not shock me at all. So even without the 3D printing and everything, how are you? There's this old expression that you don't hear too much, putting the toothpaste back in the tube. Some things are impossible to overcome. So when it comes to the issues we discuss on the program, typically what we talk about are issues that are realistic, okay? Not things that aren't going to happen, you know? And one of the things that is not going to happen are term limits, gun confiscate, all these things. Even the border before Trump. So the big story of today that I led with at 6, I want to get back to this. You're welcome to call in about anything on your mind because it is open phones. But the vote on speaker today, and hopefully it goes quick and it turns out fine. We don't need all this division. We don't really know. I mean, there's wheeling dealing going on. These guys got to act like they're tough and they're not in bed with anybody and they're their own man and all this stuff. You know, and you know, we can only spare, and again, I could be wrong about this, but I think we can only lose 2 votes. We have such a slim majority. I mean, this is crazy. And, you know, before Trump, being a conservative was not easy. Before Trump, when Republicans won, they acted like losers. I remember, I can't remember which year this was, but the Republicans won control of both houses. It might have been in the midterms of Obama's first term. It might have been Obama's first midterm. I can't remember which one it was. But Republicans win the majority in both houses. And what they did, I couldn't believe. They said, well, you know, we don't want to govern in a partisan way. And they split all the chairmanships up of the committees with the Democrats. They had an equal number of Democrats and Republicans on the committee. They gave up their majorities, and they had shared chairmanships of these committees. And it just ticks off people, including me. And when Democrats win, they don't sit around and try to be bipartisan with the Republicans, with MAGA. They won, and they govern like they won. And that's what we need to do. And that's what's going on right now. And these couple of guys that are going around griping, let me pull one of them up. As an example, Thomas Massey, you know, Matt Gaetz, who unfortunately has left Congress. I mean, I love Matt Gaetz, you know. But Matt Gaetz started his show yesterday on One American News, which I don't have OAN anymore. I used to have it. I haven't had it in years. I'm not even sure what they're doing, but I might get the app now. I don't know. Do you have to pay for it? I have to pay for these kind of things, but I may get the app now since Matt Gaetz is there because I like Matt Gaetz. So this clip has been going viral. This is Massey with Matt Gaetz on Matt Gaetz' debut on One American News last night. The Matt Gaetz Show.
If Chip Roy were asked to serve as chairman of the Rules Committee, would that be enough to get your vote for Mike Johnson?
Oh, no. You can pull all my fingernails out. You can shove bamboo up in them. You can start cutting off my fingers. I am not voting for Mike Johnson tomorrow.
Okay, so you can torture him and rip out his fingernails, and he's still not going to vote for Mike Johnson. I mean, come on. Come on. You know, I understand there are very few perfect people in politics. Donald Trump's as close as you can get to perfection, all right? With all that being said, excuse me, with all that being said, why would you want to have anybody other than who Trump wants and who Trump can work with? We control everything now. Trump has a mandate. We want to be united because we want to show the country and the Democrats that we're united and we have a mandate, and we got to start getting things done. We don't have time to sit around and argue over the speakership. Trump has backed Mike Johnson. I'm not saying there's not somebody that's maybe better on the issues. I'm sure there is. I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. But she couldn't get elected speaker. Unless some miracle happens, I'd be very happy with that. But you got to pick who can get elected, who can get things done. And President Trump has said a couple of times in interviews in the last couple of weeks since he won re-election, he said the first term, he said, I didn't know anybody in Washington. So I didn't know who I could trust and who I couldn't trust. This time I do. So, you know, I know a lot of people, they point, well, Pence, was that a good pick? No, but he didn't know. So President Trump, he knows who he could trust, who we cannot trust, and who we can trust to be the way they are, okay? So if you're MAGA and you've been advocating for President Trump for 10 years and he's back, why would you challenge any of his picks, any of his decisions? If you can't agree with Trump, you can't agree with anyone. If you say you're MAGA and you disagree with the picks that President Trump makes, you're just a disagreeable person. I'm here to tell you. There's something about you that's just not working. That's it. You know, there's some people that just can't be satisfied, right? Curmudgeons. They like to gripe. They like to complain. They like to moan. You know, a lot of people are narcissists and like people to beg them for their support. You know, like these undecided voters that they always do these interviews and polls with and everything when it comes up to election time. The, you know, undecided voters typically are narcissists that want people to beg them for their support, you know, and they enjoy that. I don't have time for narcissists. I don't have time. I don't. Do you? I don't have time for narcissists. I don't have time for people that are just always griping and can't accept that we won and can't act like we won something, which we did. Now, you have a chance to win a great night's sleep, and that, of course, is with Mike Lindell at MyPillow. If you go to MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, there's huge New Year's specials going on. Some of the lowest prices I've ever seen on products that have never been on special before, and certainly not at the prices you're seeing right now. Okay, with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, you can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com. And with our promo code Kane, not only do you get these huge discounts, you also get free shipping on orders over $75. So that's huge. The MyPillow sheets, which I have 8 sets. I have both the regular and flannel, both the Giza and the Percale sheets, and they have a whole bunch of new colors of the sheets. And the MyPillow sheets are absolutely amazing. And what I noticed about them right away is how the bottom fitted sheet fits on the mattress perfectly. And if you've ever made your bed, which maybe some of you haven't, I don't know, but I've been making beds my whole life. And before the MyPillow sheets, that fitted sheet, I just couldn't get on all 4 corners of the bed. I could get it on one corner perfectly. The second corner, 3/4 of the way. The third quarter, maybe half. And then the fourth corner, I'm using all my strength just to get it enough over the edge that the fitted sheet stays on. With the MyPillow sheets, all 4 corners go on, boom, 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 with no effort, 2 fingers and a thumb. And year after year, I've had some of these sheets for years, and they're like the day they arrived, because everything Mike Lindell makes is high quality. So promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can use our promo code for all the specials at MyPillow.com, plus free shipping on orders over $75. That's promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Don't go anywhere. Back after this. All right. We are out. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. That helps a lot. It really, truly does. Hold on, I got to go adjust the air. It's a little hot in here. Now remember, when you're on hold, hold on. When you're on hold, you're going to hear music, not me talking. Okay, so 3:57. Okay, so I'm going to come back at 3:53. 3:53. I'll be back. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem. 31 degrees. Wow. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 58 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's cold for Florida. Alexa, stop. That's cold. That's cold for Florida. If you're on hold, hang in there. That's 58. That's cold for Florida. Chile. All right, 1 minute. Yeah, I use this studio on the weekends sometimes. You may have seen it. You don't hear me when you're on hold, you hear music. Here we go. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio this year. Isn't that crazy? 48 years. Did I say 47? It's 48 years on the radio. Absolutely amazing. If you're on hold, stand by. We've been talking about a few things because it's Open MAGA Mike Friday, but primarily I've been talking about the Mike Johnson vote. This is what I consider to be the first day of Trump's second term because we have the speaker vote. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug, what's up?
First thing I'd like to say is, I think Biden is more miserable than he is senile. Because him to be given an award to Liz Cheney is like as low as you can go, man. I said, man, this guy is a really nasty guy, man. He knows that President Trump is against her, and he's just doing it to try to stick to the president.
And let me tell you, about Liz Cheney. Two things here, okay? It's one thing for Biden to give the award. He gave it to Benny Johnson, too. It's one thing for Biden to give the award to Liz Cheney. It's another thing for her to accept it. Liz Cheney goes around with this arrogance that I'm the true conservative. Here she is. Yeah, really. I was reading an article today. Maybe you've seen this. Do you know what the number one cause of death in 2024 was? It's being reported today. What would be your guess?
Nope. I would say heart attack usually. But...
No, abortions. That's what's being reported. Abortion, the number one cause of death in the world today. And as a conservative, you're obviously pro-life. Who would take an award from someone who has spent their life advocating for abortion, Joe Biden, who started all these wars, who's involved in financial scandals and bribery, who just pardoned his son on federal gun charges, who's in favor of gun control and wiping out the Second Amendment of the United States. Would you take an award from someone like that? I wouldn't.
No, exactly. I would. These people are really sick. I don't know what's wrong with them, man, but this guy and the whole bunch of liberals just need some medication. That's the only
Yeah.
thing, man.
All right.
They're
Well,
really-
in a
that's-
way,
you know,
in a way, Biden's kind of punking Liz Cheney. I mean, she looks like an idiot taking that thing. You don't have to accept every award that's given you. She doesn't have to accept. Hey, Doug, I appreciate the call. He's punking her in a way. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana Mark.
Hey, Mark, what's up?
I was listening to Richard talking to you.
Yes.
And I just want to tell Richard, you don't get what you want, but you get what you need.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
Yes.
I'm like Richard. I like that. I like the old format that when you're waiting to get on the phone, you can hear what's going on. But at the same time, change is important.
Yeah, you know. Sometimes people
I
like to
agree.
have control.
But you know, after listening to your radio show, and once in a while I call in, I've been actually working at expanding my socializing at the coffee shop. So
Oh, really?
I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Montana Mark. Take care. Have a good day. So, getting back to Mike Johnson, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, you could tell. I interviewed her last year, and if you heard me interview her on the show here, I mean, come on. I promise you, Marjorie Taylor Greene has never had an interview as good as the one I did with her. I mean, I love her. She is awesome. And I told Marjorie Taylor Greene she was promoting her book, which I have an autographed copy of her book, and I keep it right next to my autographed President Trump book. And it's a great coffee table book. It's a great read. And at the end of that interview, I told Marjorie Taylor Greene, I said, you know, you're not just the representative of your district. You're a representative of all MAGA nationwide. Okay? And Marjorie Taylor Greene has fought pretty long and hard against all the speakers that have been there since she's been there. She was instrumental in getting rid of Kevin McCarthy. She's been incredibly critical of Mike Johnson as speaker. And she even was in conflict a little bit with President Trump over this. And now we've got the vote today. President Trump's endorsed Mike Johnson. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out and went even beyond an endorsement of Mike Johnson. She released this video. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She just dropped this yesterday.
Good evening, everyone. Tomorrow we convene at noon in the House of Representatives, and our first order of business will be to vote for Speaker of the House. This is a historic vote, and it is the first order of business that we have to accomplish before we can even swear in as members of Congress. Now, here's how I feel about it. You all have seen me disagree with Mike Johnson at times. You've seen me fight against him at times. But you want to know something else? Here's what I recognize. For the past 4 years, all of you, and myself included, have put blood, sweat, and tears into electing President Trump. And when you want to talk about blood, President Trump himself actually was the one that shed blood after an assassin shot him in the face.
That's right.
Here's what I know. All of you are sick and tired and fed up out of the drama and all of the garbage that comes out of Washington, D.C. And after 2 terrorist attacks on our nation where innocent people were killed, and after 4 years of unbelievably horrific government policies, and now that we're in $36 trillion in debt, all of you at home, and myself included, are ready for the drama to end. Well, here's what I'm asking my colleagues to do. Let's put aside our pride, let's put aside our egos, and let's put aside the infighting.
You hear that? Egos and infighting. That's right. It's, you know, that's hard for a lot of people to do. You know, and it's a self-defeating way to be.
It's time to come together as Republicans, and it's time to do whatever it takes to make sure that we deliver the mandate that the American people told us to do. And that's why I'm excited tomorrow. I cannot wait to get started. I'll be voting for Mike Johnson. I will be looking ahead in complete hopefulness and working as hard as possible. You see, we're going to elect a speaker, and then we're going to swear in as members of Congress. And then on Monday, we're going to certify the most historic election in our nation's history when we certify Donald John Trump's election as 47th President of the United States. We're going to spend a few weeks getting to work, working hard on preparing for his agenda. And then on January 20th, we're going to inaugurate Donald John Trump as the 47th President of the United States. Now, it's 18 long days until we get to that important day. And while all of us are praying and many of us are scared after what we've seen, and many of us are unsure if we'll be even able to get there and see President Trump go back in the White House, I'm going to tell you this. I'm giving it my all, and I can't wait to get started tomorrow. All right, we'll see you there.
I mean, that's amazing. And she's got a lot of ego on the line here because she's been so vocal against him. This is great, yeah. I mean, we're going to certify President Trump in just a couple of days. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, we're 17 days away from the inauguration. The Trump miracle. This is nothing short of a miracle. Donald Trump took a bullet and he got up and he said, fight, fight, fight. The least these people can do is do what he asks, and that's support Mike Johnson. All right, we're going to take our first break of the second hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Okay, we're out. Now, there's a couple topics I want to get to. Okay. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, like the video, okay, guys? I'm going to move on to some other topics when we get back, but you're welcome to call in about anything we brought up so far. Now remember, when you're on hold, you're going to hear music, not me. So hang in there. I wonder if they're going to put Melania on magazines this time around. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. We'll be back in a minute. 17:03. I'm going to come back on my clock. Oh, boy. I'm gonna take some more calls, and then and I'm gonna get into some of the stories. They're saying that the Vegas Cybertruck guy is MAGA. Do you guys believe that? Is he MAGA? Okay, stand by. 6 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. This year, 2025, celebrating 48 years on the radio. All right, let's go back to the phones. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard Pompano.
Hey, Richard, what's up?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Richard Pompano? Go ahead.
Richard from... All right. You know, I'm so sick and tired of hearing the Republicans have the majority here. Is it possible that there's so many Republicans in name only and they won't vote for Johnson that a Democrat could be the next Speaker of the House?
No. I mean, there's that. Okay. I mean, theoretically that could happen. Yeah, you know, but to my knowledge, at least not in the modern era, but maybe never, has there ever been a speaker who was not a member of the governing party? That'd be crazy. You know, we only have a 4-seat majority. We can only afford to lose 2 votes. So, right. So what I've been telling you guys is, don't believe all these BS stories that these guys are telling you, that they're on their high horse, that I am the true conservative. I won't vote for this guy. Like every other member of the House, they're just looking to make a deal. All of a sudden, they're valuable. Like, you know, look, here in Florida, Ron DeSantis has destroyed his future with Republican voters. He's unelectable forever. He's got this Senate appointment. So now he has a little juice. He can make a deal so that in 2 years, when he's out of office, he might be able to parlay a life for himself and his family after he's governor in 2 years, okay? Because he can make a deal with the Senate appointment, right? That's what's going on with these congressmen that are griping. They want something. They want money for a donor. They want a chairmanship on a committee. They want something. They're grandstanding for a legal payoff.
Okay. One other thing, you're still in Boca.
I'm not going to tell you where I am. I'm not going to tell you where I am. Why would I tell you where I am?
No, I just don't understand. I put on YouTube and this blue background.
I'm at an undisclosed location. What does Mark Levin say? Deep inside a bunker. I'm not going to tell you where I am.
Okay. Can you still see the peacocks?
I can see everything. Don't you worry. I'm not going to tell you where I am. I appreciate the call, though. Why don't I just give you the address? Oh, my. Or maybe I'll send a car for you to come over here. I'm in an undisclosed location. All right. So, so that's that. Now, I want to bring up a couple other things. Now, again, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. It is open phones on Friday, open MAGA Mike Friday. But there are some things I do want to bring up that I'm going to sprinkle in between these calls. This terrorist attack that happened a couple days ago, and I say singular because I find it impossible to believe that these two events are not connected. What are your thoughts? I mean, you know, there's too many connections. Both are, this guy in Vegas is on leave from the Army. But they're both Army, both rented the vehicles using the same app, the Turo app, right? I mean, there's too many similarities in these guys. And it happened on the same day within hours of one another. They both had improvised explosive devices. There's too many similarities, okay? And I think, you know, we're at a point that, and we've been this way for a long time, we don't trust the government. We've seen, you know, the people that are telling us there's no connection to these two are the same people that have been harassing President Trump for a decade with phony investigations, who broke in and invaded his house, who brought a safecracker and broke into his safe, who arrested him and got a mugshot and all this stuff. It's the same people that have done all that. So how can we believe them when they tell us these incidents are not related? It doesn't even seem credible to say they're not. And by the way, so early in the investigation, how can they determine that they're unrelated? So then yesterday, there a story started, which is starting to pick up steam. I talked about this on my podcast with my wife last night. They're telling us that the Las Vegas Cybertruck terrorist is MAGA. And they're saying a family of Trump hotel bomber says he's MAGA. His uncle gave an interview to The Independent, and this is the Cybertruck guy. And his uncle says that he's a big Trump supporter. So he's confused over the attack. He described his nephew as a Rambo type, for a lack of a better word, he said, in a conversation with The Independent. He is the brother of the father of the bomber, okay? He used to have all patriotic stuff on his Facebook. Well, that's used to. He was 100% loving the country, his uncle said. He loved Trump. He was always a very, very patriotic soldier, a patriotic American. It's one of the reasons he was in Special Forces for so many years. It just wasn't one tour of duty. And also they're saying it was either this guy is a bit of a player. His wife, who is a liberal, who looks like a crazy lady, threw him out recently because he was cheating on her, it said. But I read a few interviews. On his way to the Trump Hotel in Vegas, he was contacting like his old girlfriends and stuff. And there's some text messages that have been released. And I was reading some stories that had quotes from his wife as well as his girlfriends that he's trying to re-hook up with. And so I can't remember if it was the wife or a girlfriend, but they also said he was MAGA. But then, well, there's a lot of MAGA people that don't like Elon Musk, as we've been talking about and seen over the last week. But then there's a story with a photograph in the Gateway Pundit today. And listen to this. This is the headline. The Vegas bomber. I don't use any of these people's names, but this is the guy that blew up the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck bomber. The Gateway Pundit has discovered a photograph of him wearing a T-shirt that says, "Glory to Ukraine." Glory to Ukraine. And he boasted about setting up recently retired U.S. Special Forces for military gigs in Ukraine. So they've got a photograph of him with this Glory for Ukraine photograph. Okay, so we've got the picture of him in this, and he's out there trying to recruit, I guess, mercenaries to go and fight for Ukraine. Well, that doesn't sound like MAGA to me. And another thing, the golf course assassin of Trump here in Florida, remember, that's what he was doing. He was in Ukraine. He was he was also working to recruit people to go and fight for Ukraine. So now this Ukraine story is in the Gateway Pundit, which is a very credible conservative news outlet. None of the major, more mainstream media have reported this, but this photograph of him with the Glory to Ukraine, I've seen that photograph in some mainstream reporting. They just didn't highlight the T-shirt. So the photograph, I believe, is real. So the Cybertruck guy in Vegas and the golf course assassin here in Florida, both trying to recruit mercenaries to go from the United States military to go and fight for Ukraine. So that's a connection right there. Who's behind that? I don't know. But that's a connection to the Trump assassination attempt. And both Trump assassins had a connection too. So this is all connected. Now, we're not going to get any answers now. They're trying to portray this guy as MAGA. Well, you see that Trump's against the war in Ukraine. He's going to end the war in Ukraine. This guy's trying to keep it going. And with the golf course assassin doing the same thing this guy was doing, That doesn't sound like MAGA to me. And his uncle said he used to post patriotic things about Trump, used to, on Facebook. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. If you are on hold, stand by. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. All right, we'll take our break and be right back. All right. Do you guys like my I'll be back when I'm on commercial? If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm communicating with Mike through text. Trump is always great. You do not have to worry about Trump.
We are here inside.
If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. 32:33. Okay, so we got a minute. We'll be back in a minute. Yeah, we're on a radio break. 32:30, I'm coming back on. 32:30, so I've got 35 seconds. We're on a bunch of radio stations. So I'm coordinating with our board op at the radio station right now. 18 seconds. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, it is Open Mag and Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Big Phil from Houston, Texas.
Hey, Houston. What's up?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, we talked before, and we talked about the swamp. And the question I have for you, you've been in radio for over 30 years.
Oh.
Can't we do something about the media, how corrupt the media is?
What would you suggest? When you say do something about the media, what does that mean?
Well, like how they twist things up and lie about everything.
Well, there are people. Well, that's a danger. Listen, I'm in a form of media, and there's a lot of people who think that I'm lying. I'm not. But just because you don't like what someone's saying, it's America, free speech and all.
I understand the free speech, Brian, but when it comes to talking, telling people you're telling the truth. And podcast people are telling the truth of what's going on, and the local media and the media is talking, for the swamp. I mean, they're part of the swamp.
Yeah.
Can't
what's happening? What's he supposed to do? Well, there's
media reform.
Listen, every time there's a shooting, the Democrats come out and talk about gun control, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and then what do we say? There's the Second Amendment of the the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution gives us the right to own guns. Well, what you're talking about is wiping away the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech and freedom of the press. So no, you can't do anything. You can't do anything about that. And you don't want to, because that's what they want to do to the right. If you started violating the First Amendment rights of mainstream corporate liberal media, we're in power now, but they'll be back in power at some point, and then they'll start shutting people up. If Kamala Harris would have won, I may not be able to speak like I'm speaking now. If Kamala Harris would have won. Remember, Gavin Newsom, they were talking about arresting Elon Musk because he was allowing freedom of speech on X. So no, you don't want to limit the press just because you don't agree with what they're saying. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, though. Take care. Thanks so much, all right? Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. I'm calling from the great state of Michigan.
Hey, Michigan. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, I just called real quick to wish you and your wife, Kathy, and Steve, and everybody on YouTube Happy New Year's.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. It's great. It's hard. I can't believe it's 2025. That just blows me away. It's like, it seems like we're living in the future.
That's right.
All
the
right.
MAGA future.
It's the year of MAGA.
Once again, God bless you, man. Great show, and I enjoy watching all your shows.
I appreciate it. Take care. Take care. Yeah, if you'd like to call in, please do. 1-888-465-2631. Okay, so, we were talking yesterday about these DEI people in New Orleans, right? The old lady police chief, and then the woman with the nose ring. And it looks like they got rid of her. She took out the nose ring yesterday, and I saw someone else from the FBI talking instead of her that was more appropriate. I saw something this morning I couldn't believe. Did you see how they let a reporter go through the residence of the New Orleans terrorist? I couldn't believe this. Right after the terror attack, the FBI investigation is still going on, right? You know, and they let this reporter go through his house. Let me play this for you. And they're bragging. The media is bragging about it. Exclusive tour of the New Orleans terrorist home. The reporter says we found a bomb-making station and a Quran open to a chilling passage about martyrdom. Let me share this with you. This is the reporter going through the crime scene, which should be locked down, contaminating the crime scene.
We are here inside the New Orleans terrorist home. You can see that it's been clearly destroyed, the door at least.
I mean, we're like 2 days after this attack. They're letting the reporter just go through the home? Why isn't this roped off and guarded? Who knows what's inside this place? I've never seen something like this before. This is insane.
We are here inside the New Orleans terrorist home. You can see that it's been clearly destroyed, the door at least, from the FBI raid yesterday.
This is insane.
If we walk through the home, we see some signs of what he was up to. He had this work area here, lots of different chemicals splayed around, and different...
and I'm looking at this video. This is a video I'm playing. They have, as crazy as this sounds, it looks like I'm looking at a laptop. I'm seeing some other electronic devices, the bomb-making station. This is part of the cover-up. This is part of the DEI incompetence that's going on. I find it hard to believe 2 days later, they've already gone through the house enough to say we never need to be inside this house again. Whoever allowed this to happen should maybe be charged with a crime. I don't blame the reporter, okay? But someone from the feds had to let her in to contaminate this crime scene. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yeah, you're on the... Yeah.
It's Lisa in Tennessee.
Hey,
How
Lisa.
you doing?
What's on your mind?
Well, talking about these terrorist attacks, and oh my gosh, they're in his house? I mean,
yeah,
I can't believe this.
No, they're there with computers around and everything. They let the media in. It's the FBI. It's their crime scene. They let her in.
Well, it's kind of making sense, really, if you think about it, because all these two terrorist attacks. I mean, they just had a report yesterday from one of the guys in the Senate. I can't remember if it was Kennedy or not, but they're expecting lots of terrorist attacks over the next, 17 days, and they're already talking about putting in emergency powers for possible.
Who's talking about that? No, there's no one talking about martial law. No one credible.
No, not martial, but just I guess a state of emergency.
There's a lot of people that say things online that just make crap up.
Yeah.
Okay. No one's giving emergency powers to Biden to stay in office. There's no martial law, and no one's talking about a whole bunch of terrorist attacks. Okay. So whoever's saying that is just making stuff up. You should not be listening to that person. Whoever that is very irresponsible.
Yeah, it's the old they just want to keep everybody scared kind of thing. To me,
well, there's a lot of people that are online, whether they're doing a show or have social media or something, who like to say outrageous and stupid things for attention. And whoever you heard saying those things, they're just making stuff up. None of that is true. Everything that you told me is untrue, especially the emergency powers to keep Biden in office. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty far out myself. I just didn't know if you'd heard of it yet.
Listen, there's any time something happens, there's always idiots that are out there talking about emergency powers and martial law. I don't know why they do that other than for attention. No, that's stupid talk. No.
I want your opinion about Steve Bannon. How do you feel about Steve Bannon?
Well, you got to be more specific.
What he's talking about.
Well, what do you mean by that?
He's because he's so against Elon Musk. How can we?
I think with Steve Bannon, it's obvious. He's no longer an inside man. Elon is, and he's jealous.
Mm-hmm.
I like Steve Bannon. I'm a fan of Steve Bannon. Mm-hmm. He's awesome. He does great stuff, and he does a great show and great reporting. But this is just petty bickering because he's not an inside man right now, and he wants to be on the inside like Elon Musk, and he's not. So he's jealous. I don't even know how self-aware he is of that. Jealousy's it's a rough emotion to go through, being jealous of other people. I mean, I don't know if you agree with that or not.
No, it is, and it's just like Marjorie Taylor Greene said when you played her announcement there. It's all about putting all of that to the side: jealousy, insecurities, and pride. Right?
Well,
pride.
Listen. Steve Bannon literally went to prison for being MAGA, so he feels owed, and he's not getting the satisfaction and respect that he thinks he deserves. Would be my guess. I don't know. Does that seem likely to you?
Yeah, that does. I mean, he paid a pretty ultimate price that a lot of
he could have showed up. He could have showed up and testified. He defied a congressional subpoena. He didn't have to do that. Trump didn't ask him to do that. He did it. Okay, yeah. So but there's
Peter Navarro. Yeah,
Peter Navarro is different.
Yeah, he's a little different.
Yeah, but this is a ego exercise. In my opinion, it doesn't mean as a bad guy. I like Steve Bannon. I'll continue to like him and support him, but. Our friends screw up sometimes. Our families disappoint us sometimes. How many times you've been disappointed by a family member, right? They did something you didn't approve of. You still love them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is just a speed bump.
I'm all for supporting Mike Johnson. If that's what Trump is asking us to do, then that is what we need to do.
Indeed.
And we've got to pull together. This bickering is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. Take care, all right? All right, you're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break and be right back. Brian Craig at the radio station. Hey, Barry, it's Brian. Hey, Barry, I'm going to put you on hold, and you'll hear music. We're not on, but when I pick you up, you'll be on the air, all right? I'm in a different location today. Okay, I'll call you at 9 when I get off. A couple minutes after 9, would that work? Okay, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We're going to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group on this Friday. Attorney Barry Siegel, what do you have for us today?
Good morning, Brian. Well, again, just want to talk about, finish out this week and talk about the New Year's resolutions. Everybody's thinking about what their New Year's resolutions are, and of course, for many people, it's to make sure that they plan ahead, don't leave a mess behind, set up an estate plan to take care of their loved ones, protect themselves and their loved ones, and have peace of mind. And so to encourage that, today is the final day of the offer that we made a few days ago, where if you call today and schedule your free consultation to take place anytime before the end of January, you'll get a credit for $1,000 off any estate planning that you do. But you have to call today, and it has to be scheduled within the month of January for that to apply.
All right, this is the last day, guys. So, and remember, the Siegel Law Group can help you no matter where you are located in the state of Florida. You know, with all the days of Zoom and video calls, no matter where you are in Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. This is the last day of this special offer. How much off are you offering, Barry, again, before I say it?
$1,000.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure before I said it. Okay, $1,000 off, but you've got to call by end of business today, and your appointment has to be scheduled for the month of January. Here's the number. It's toll-free at the Siegel Law Group, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. That's 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, take care. All right, we are back. And, of course, it's Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones on Friday's show. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's program. You're not limited to the things that we bring up, although there are some things that I do want to get into. You know, we got the speaker's vote. You know, typically, because we've had a lot of these speaker votes over the years, okay? And before the era of Trump, when the speaker votes happen, it was in the news, and the news might carry it, but it wasn't that much of a controversy. Now, sometimes there would be things that happen, like Newt Gingrich, you know, during the Newt Gingrich era, when Clinton was president, he was being impeached and everything for having affairs, having sex with women in the Oval Office and stuff, right? And then it came out that some of the Newt ran into some problems, and then I remember there was a guy. Was it Livingston? There was a guy that was going to be the speaker that was going to replace Newt, and I think it was Livingston, and then it turned out he was having an affair, so he didn't even get to the vote. He had to drop out, and then we got Denny Hazard, who had some scandals years later. But they pushed those guys out because the Republican Party was taking this moral high ground, and then we had all these guys in Congress that were having affairs, so they were out. But other than that, the speakership thing is just kind of happens. We follow the news. Now, all of us in the country are following every single moment of it, and it's never happened before. And this is why, and I think it's changed. The Republican Party has changed because, you know, President Trump, a lot of people haven't really wrapped their minds around this. I was talking about this on New Year's Day. We were live on New Year's Day, but it was a holiday. A lot of you are off. And what I was talking about, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to the phones in a bit, but I want to cover a couple of things here because it's important, because this is going on today. For the last 10 years in the MAGA movement, we've been activists, all right? We've been activists. We've been advocating to have Trump in power. And a lot of times I've seen, and it's really the MAGA movement. I know we had the Tea Party, but the Tea Party was only around for a minute. It wasn't around very long, and the Tea Party lacked a leader, and that's why they were able to destroy it. We've had a leader in the MAGA movement of activism, and his name's Donald Trump, the 45th and 47th president of the United States. And we've been activists, and now we've won. And a lot of people, and this goes into the caller before the break, was saying about Steve Bannon. A lot of people in the MAGA movement have not accepted that we've won. Not only have we won, we've accomplished what we wanted. We've got Trump back in the White House for a second and non-consecutive term, which is historic, right? I mean, it's really a miracle that he's back after this 4-year break with everything they put him through in the last 4 years. It's amazing. It's a complete miracle. And a lot of people that are activists can't stop being activists. And I gave a couple examples on New Year's Day. And this is what I gave. I've only seen this with the left because MAGA is really the only conservative activist movement that's been around in my life. There's been conservative activist movements in the past, like the suffragettes for the women's vote and things like this, were conservatives, were Republican, but this is the first one in my lifetime. And on the left, as an example, Martin Luther King really started the civil rights movement. I mean, that could be argued, but it's for the discussion. Let's just start with Dr. King, the great Martin Luther King. The civil rights movement that Martin Luther King led was a great movement. It stopped Democrat Jim Crow. It stopped Democrat segregation. And it was a beautiful thing. But after all that was accomplished, the black civil rights activists didn't pack up and say, we won. They kept being activists. And they kept being activists for different reasons for different people. But these organizations make a lot of money. You know, NAACP and all these groups, and it's an industry. Activism, especially with the Democrats, with liberals, is an industry. So this great moment to defeat Democrat Jim Crow and Democrat segregation, all these years later, turned into Black Lives Matter and defunding the police, which is absurd. Gay activists, the same thing. Gay activists for decades were activating, mainly they want acceptance in society and gay marriage to be legal. They got them both. When people come out of the closet, it's not even news anymore. To make news, you'd have to come out of the closet as straight. Like if some actor came out as straight, that'd make news. And gays have gay marriage. And they've had gay marriage now for years. That became the law when Obama was president. Was it his first or second term? I don't remember, but it's been law for years. And it's recognized in all 50 states. It's settled. But the gay activist organizations stayed in business because there's a lot of people that make a lot of money. In all activist organizations, it's a job, it's a career. And they win. And what happened with the gay activist? It's morphed into the absurdity of advocating for men to be in women's sports. And now we have men beating up women in boxing matches in the Olympics. That's what, when activist organizations stay activating after they win their established goals, they become jokes. So, Black Civil Rights Movement to BLM to fund the police, gays to the transgender stuff we're dealing with now. And if some of our MAGA activists don't say we won, and now we were activated to get Trump reelected and he's back, what are they going to become? I don't know. I hope it wouldn't. I hope they would stop being activists and say, you know what, MAGA, we're now the establishment. And there's a lot of people that are activists that haven't realized that, haven't accepted it, or are in denial about it, or uncomfortable with it, don't know another way. Okay? But we have won. Trump is back. We control the White House, the House of Representatives, the United States Senate, and the Supreme Court of the United States. We control everything. And when I say we, I don't mean just Republicans. I mean Donald Trump as the leader of the Republican Party. So it's time to stop being an activist and be a victor. There are people out there that are fighting for something that we have won. And what happens? I don't know. Hopefully it'll end soon. Nothing's happened as of yet because it's still new. But opposing Trump's pick for Speaker of the House is one of the things, okay, that I'm talking about. These are things that you got to stop being an activist, admit you won, Trump's the president again, and back what it is and who it is that he's supporting. All right? And if you continue to be an activist after the movement has won, and winning is the re-election of President Trump, you're going to set us up for doom. and cause all kinds of problems that we just don't need to be dealing with. Now, I want to tell you guys about Joe Thomas. You know, Joe Thomas is amazing. You want to call him up and talk to him about annuities. I've heard about annuities my entire life. I never really understood what they were until I met with Joe Thomas. First time I met with Joe Thomas, and I knew he did annuities and worked with annuities and all that stuff. And I told him, I said, I hear about them, but I never had anybody explain them to me in a way I could really understand what they are. And in just about 60 seconds, 90 seconds, Joe Thomas explained to me everything about annuities, and I understood. And it's absolutely amazing. With an annuity, your nest egg is safe. Your money is safe. You don't have to worry about the ups and downs of the market. And you can generate income when you're retired. So you're not risking anything, and you can generate income. That's awesome. That's absolutely amazing. I'm not one of these guys in the stock market with the stock market ups and downs. That's too anxiety inducing for me. To me, that's like gambling. I don't bet on anything. I don't gamble. We go on our cruises. I don't gamble in the casino. My daughter sometimes wants to play the slots. She's playing the slots. I'm doing the shots. I don't even really do that. It's just, to me, gambling is throwing money away. And that's how I feel with the ups and downs of the stock market. I'm not into that. But with annuities, there's no stress at all. You put your money in the annuity. It is safe. It's not at risk. And you can generate income when you are retired. That's an amazing thing. And, Joe Thomas is offering free phone consultations. And you can take advantage of the free phone consultation no matter where you're located in the United States. And this is an amazing thing. You call him up. You have your free phone consultation. He's going to give you a custom proposal based on you, what your goals and your needs are and your situation is. And Joe Thomas is a top guy in the industry, okay? So this free phone consultation is a very valuable thing you're getting. He has for over 30 years been in the retirement planning industry. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top man in the industry, and he's offering you a free phone consultation. That's a pretty good deal, right? That's right. Give him a call. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, you can get it off his website. Very easy to remember, JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com. Make sure you tell him I sent you. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go on this open phone, open MAGA mic Friday. That's right. Our number 1-888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. You're free to call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that I've been bringing up, although I think I brought up some things that are very, very newsworthy and important to discuss. The Steve Kane Show is the longest-running radio show in Florida on the radio for 48 years this year. That is absolutely amazing. We'll take our break for the top and be right back. Now remember, guys, when you're on hold, you hear music, not me talking or the radio commercials. We'll be back in 50 seconds. No, it's not like that. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. The third hour of this Friday has begun. The show has flown by. It seems like I just opened up the mic. The last 2 hours have just sped by. Okay, so here we are. We're 17 days until Trump's inauguration. And America's under attack this week. Things are going on. And, you know, Biden yesterday, with the way that he's behaving, I mean, he gave a press conference, and the teleprompter, on the terror attack, the teleprompter went out. And then he was talking yesterday, and he had to get out because he didn't want to miss the football game while America's under attack. Did you catch this? Let me pull this up. This is insane. This is Biden yesterday. Now keep in mind, this is, you know, America is under attack. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if these two incidents was it. We don't know if there's more coming. We really don't even know why they happened. And here's Biden.
And we're seeing that today. The Sugar Bowl is back on. Kickoff is going to take off very shortly. If I don't get this damn thing done, we're going to be in real trouble.
Yeah, there he is checking his watch, and the press is laughing. You know, checking here we are. You know, when there's a crisis in the country, when there's an attack or on the country or military action, you go to the president. You go to the president because you want some reassurances. And like when he was meeting the families with fallen servicemen on their way home from Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever, Syria, wherever they were, he's checking his watch. He was doing that yesterday. This is why the attacks happened. The country's weak. Our leadership is weak. I saw Mayorkas on an interview yesterday. Mayorkas didn't even know what was going on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hold on. Let me try again. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John, Okeechobee.
Hey, John, what's up? Long time no hear. I don't think we've talked in a while.
Yeah, well, I've been in the hospital and rehab for hip surgery for the last 3 months. It's really screwed
hip
up.
surgery rehab,
And
not drug or alcohol rehab.
I came back home and my computer was broken.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't remember passwords and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Life's rough, man.
Well, we are seeing a change, and it's more than just our party winning over your party. Like in 1968, our man beat Lyndon Johnson, and Lyndon Johnson had him over for lunch to talk about the presidency. You know, it's not that deal. It's a radical change. And there's going to be opportunity the next 2 years, 3 years, all over the place. People keep their eyes open for it.
Yeah. Well, when you say radical change, what do you see the changes? Obviously, not Trump's the change, but what do you say that's so radical about the change?
Away from Eurosocialism, away from that, the government's going to take care of you. You know, back to we're going to take care of ourselves. Back to faith, family, and freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, good to hear from you. Sometimes when I don't hear from somebody has difficulty breathing like you, I'm glad that you're still kicking.
Not by breathing. Yeah. Hasta luego.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Have a great weekend. Yes, yes, yes. You know, what John from Okeechobee said is absolutely correct, okay? But before I comment on that, I want to mention, there was a guy, he called in the first hour, he was calling me a racist. That's stupid. He called yesterday, apparently. I'd forgotten about it, but he mentioned he had called me a racist yesterday. People don't even know what racism is. John's calling from Okeechobee, which is a small town in Florida. It's at the northern tip of Lake Okeechobee, okay, in Florida. And my grandparents retired from Ohio to Okeechobee, Florida in the 1970s, the late 1970s. And I spent every summer, and I even lived there for a year or two when I was younger, in the late 70s and early 80s, I would spend in Okeechobee. Late 70s, early 80s, up to like 82-ish or something. And I went to school there for 2 years. And the school that I went to in 5th grade, when segregation was in the South, was the black high school. And everybody in town called the name of the school. I can't remember the name of the school offhand. It's been a long time, man. It's like 81, 82 that I went there. But everybody in town didn't call it the name of the school. Oh, it was called the 5th and 6th grade center because it only had every 5th and 6th grader in the whole county went to school here because it's a small town. It was called the 5th and 6th grade center. And everybody in town called it the colored high school. Can you imagine? Openly, all over the place. The colored high school. I'm from Ohio. I never knew such thing, but that was the black high school is where I went to school. And although it wasn't written law, it was, and this was very shocking to me, because being from Ohio, and then you come down here in the late 70s and early 80s in an area that was segregated not that long ago, right? The Deep South in Okeechobee. Blacks were not allowed out at night. They weren't allowed to go out at night. Now, it wasn't the law, but it was understood. And I didn't understand it now because I was a kid, but now I do because you had a bunch of old racist good old boys. Now, things are not that way now, okay? It's a different place now. I'm talking about, 45 years ago, which is crazy to think that I'm old enough to remember things 45 years in the past. And that's some hardcore racism. So, anyway, the guy that called me earlier, and he was calling me a racist because I was questioning the professionalism of this FBI agent in New Orleans. People today don't understand what real racism is, okay? Racism is not having a disagreement on an issue. Racism is like what I told you guys that I saw when I was a kid in Okeechobee, Florida. That's racism. They have no idea what racism is. Their definition of racism is being critical of someone who's not white. That's not racism. And that's a term that is thrown around way too much, and it's a big one. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Mark from Rochester, New York. How you doing today?
Hey, Mark. What's on your mind?
Not too much. Hey, I've been listening to your show for about 4 years or so. Great show. Listening show. The reason I'm calling, I just wanted to support one of your sponsors, Attorney Barry Siegel.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I live in New York, so I didn't use him. But a couple of years ago, we had a family member who had to go into long-term living. And we had a situation where we were trying to put them into Medicaid. And we were looking at the Medicaid forms, and all the restrictions that were there looked like we didn't apply. So a neighbor next door came over and was talking because he heard about the situation, and he recommended an attorney. And we went to that attorney, and they were able to basically customize a plan. We realized that a lot of our money was tied up in an IRA in-house. And since my mother was still living in the house...
Well, that's all a great story, but I know it's open phones, but, I got to have some quality control. But Attorney Barry Siegel does help with the Medicaid planning, and it's a big part of what he does, and he's helped a lot. I've met a lot of our listeners, some on our cruises and at personal appearances, and gotten calls on the air that have used the Siegel Law Group, and he does help people out a lot. It can save families their entire nest egg and life savings and even their homes.
Yeah, I can. And I apologize. I don't mean to sidetrack your show.
No, that's okay. No, I appreciate it. No, you're right. It's a very good service that they offer at the Siegel Law Group. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and for people that are nearing that age, please do something because you can save your children a lot of stress.
Absolutely. All right, man. Appreciate the call from Rochester, New York. Yeah. Now, listen, we're going to take our it is open phones, guys. And the calls are screenless, so there's that's the way it is. On Open MAGA Mike Friday, you never know what you're going to get on the phones, as you can tell from the calls we've been taking the last 2 hours and almost 15 minutes. All right, we're going to take our first break of the third hour. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll free 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, we're out. We got a minute and a half. A minute and a half, and we'll be back. We're coming back at 16:45. A minute, 10 seconds. Yep, this is a radio station commercial break we're in. We're coming back at 16 minutes and 45 seconds. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Seconds. Yeah, if you'd like to call in, the number to call, if you're on hold, hang in there. The number to call in is pinned in the live chat, the toll-free number, if you're watching live. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. I want to talk about this incredible free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. You know, the free doorbell camera that you can get from Slomin's with the installation of your Slomin Shield connects directly to your cell phone. You get a notification on your cell phone. You get a notification anytime there's movement at your door, and you can see who's there with the camera, no matter where you are. If you're at work, if you're at the grocery store, and traveling. When I go on our cruises, I get notification anytime someone comes near the front door, and I can see who is there. This is great. I mean, you'll love it. It's obviously a part of your home security system, but it's also in this age where you got Amazon deliveries, DoorDash, and Uber Eats and everything going on, and Instacart. It's also a great convenience. And those door-to-door salesmen, well, they never get me anymore because I can see them out there. Even when they try to knock like they're a friend of mine and try to trick me, I can see who's there. So I'm going to give you the number in a moment. But Sloman's, they're going to give you, with the installation of your Sloman Shield, a free doorbell camera. But they're also, I know it's really a great offer. They're also going to give you an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Okay? You get that Sloman Shield, you get the free doorbell camera. Great to have. Here's the number, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. Give Sloman's a call. Get that free doorbell camera. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yes, I'm calling from the Netherlands, and I'm following your show for quite a while.
Welcome from the Netherlands.
I just want to say, from the Netherlands, it's in Europe, is it?
Yes, in Europe.
No, well, I'm following your show, and I want to say that, I want to wish you a happy New Year, and I find it very important that you give the people the chance to call in and say what they have on their minds, because a lot of other stations they speak for the people, but they don't speak with the people. So
it's amazing. I've gotten calls from all over the world, from people listening and watching all over the world, including like Ukraine, right? But I think you're the first call I've ever received from the Netherlands.
I'm following Trump and the MAGA movement for quite a years, and the moment Trump was his first term in 2016, I knew for sure he's a special president. He's not like any president we have seen before, and
that's an interesting. In Europe.
And bring the world in a state of normality, because, the last 4 years were complete chaos.
It's an interesting thing, because I'm gonna tell you.
In Europe or other parts of the world after a while. So
yeah.
I'm following America with a very interested. My English is not so good.
No, your English is pretty good. No, I must say, but here's the thing. It's such an interesting thing, because I get calls from people all over the world about Trump, right? Australia, all over the world. In the United States, and maybe we're just arrogant in the United States, I don't know. We don't even know who the leaders are of other countries. Like in the Netherlands, I don't know any leader in the Netherlands in your entire history. But the presidency of the United States is so important to nations throughout the entire world, more so than any other nation. And what we've had these last 4 years is such weakness. And look at Europe. Europe is if Trump were not reelected, World War III would be starting in Europe.
That's true, and I'm always learned. Lots of the people in the Netherlands, they're following the mainstream news without checking his achievements. They're all negative about Trump, and I always knew when the mainstream media are talking negative about candidates, the opposite is always true. And dictating his history and what he has done for the country, what's not in the newspapers. And I'm thinking this guy is a fantastic guy.
Why? Let me ask you this: why is who the president of the United States is or isn't? Why is that important to somebody living in the Netherlands? Like why do you care enough about the president of the United States? Why is it important to you, and how does it affect your life who the president is?
because I see the United States as the last beacon of freedom and common sense, and if that is falling away, then also Europe is becoming completely in chaos.
Yeah, it is. I know. That's amazing. It's amazing. All right. Well, I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Yeah. You added something good for new Netherlands MAGA.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Yeah. No, well, I always have Dick in his achievements. Who is Trump? What he has done for the victims of Katrina. They always like to here in the Netherlands. They always say President Trump is a racist, but the guy has done lots of things for immigrants and for black people. And that is completely ignored here because they only following the news on the surface. But I've Dick in his.
Let me ask you, in the Netherlands. Are there black people in the Netherlands? It seems like a white place.
Yes, we have black people in the Netherlands.
3 or 4 people. How many? How many? There can't be that many black people in the Netherlands.
We have Black Lives Matter here in the...
Get out of town! Black Lives Matter is in the Netherlands? Get out of town! Really?
Black Lives Matter in the Netherlands, and they also ruined a few of our traditions. We had a national holiday that is called Santa Claus, and Santa Claus was with black people. And the funny thing is, most of the black people loved that party. It was about Santa Claus and Black Peter. But Black Lives Matter, they say that they speak for the black people, but that's not true. The only thing that they are creating is a lot of hatred between the races. I think.
Yeah.
So
what was it? What was Black Lives Matter in the Netherlands? That's crazy. So what did Black Lives Matter?
They had a lot of the demonstrations here.
That's crazy.
Also anti-Trump things, and also about they try to erase our Christmas.
What's their problem with Christmas? Because Santa's white. What's their problem with Christmas?
Yeah, we have a part here that's called Sinterklaas. It's not Santa Claus, it's Sinterklaas, and they also have that in Mexico with black people and Santa Claus. That's an other face. Because the helper of Sinterklaas was a white guy who is covered in fruit from the chimneys. But they say, that is racist, and
oh yes,
and they try to create division between the black people and the white people.
Well, that's what the left do. Okay, it's international. Wherever the left operate, what they do is cause division. And they want to pit people against one another. And because when people are united, we unite against their leftism. And that's what they do here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And they always came with a simple solution. You are for Trump, so you have to be racist. It's always black or white. And
oh my goodness.
But they are unfortunately, they're very good in it, but I think lots of people are, seeing through the bullshit.
No. There you go, Mike. Yeah, first time today, Mike. Got to hit the dump button. All right, if you're on hold, stand by as we wait for the delay to re-engage. Oh, my goodness. He doesn't... His English isn't so good, but he knows that word. All right, Mike. I hope you hit that dump button. He did. Okay. Oh, my goodness. All right. We're going to take our break for the bottom of that. That was an amazing call, though. Black Lives Matter disrupting the Netherlands. I guess we've run them out of this country when they were exposed as a real estate scam. I don't know. But, they have Black Lives Matter in England. I knew that. But in the Netherlands? Oh, my goodness. All right. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, celebrating 48 years this year on the radio. We'll be right back. Great call. Great call. Okay, 33, 23. Okay, just talking to Mike. He's telling me what time we're coming back. That was a great call. A little different than we would normally get, but a great call. Indeed. All right, stand by. If you'd like to call in, we're in the last 30 minutes. The toll-free number to call in is pinned in the chat. That was maybe the best call of the week. Well, his English, English is not his first language. It might not even be his second. So I thought he did pretty good with the English. Don't you? Got a few more things I've got to get to. Oh, the Great Outdoor. I haven't seen the Great Outdoors in a long time. Oh my gosh. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. And if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video if you don't mind. Yeah, that is for sure my first call from the Netherlands. I have never gotten a call from the Netherlands before, I don't think. We're coming back at 33:23. We'll be back in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, about 90 seconds or so. The show has flown by. I mean, there's less than 30 minutes left. 1 minute. Liberals always pushing it. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. All right, lots going on. There's a couple stories. If you're on hold, hang in there. And if you'd like to call in, there's still time. There's a couple stories I want to recap in a moment, but I want to talk about that last caller. You know, this is really an amazing thing because, you know, the speaker vote today of Mike Johnson, let's hope it happens quick. I don't want to do 12 votes. I'd like to, on the first vote, I'd like to get it done and show unity. You know, if you go back throughout history, what other president other than Donald Trump has been so loved even outside of the United States? And you know what that is about? You know, because we get calls from all over the world. That was definitely the first call I've ever gotten from the Netherlands. I've never gotten a call from the Netherlands before. That was a first. But we get calls from all over the world. Mostly the English-speaking world, because you got to speak English to listen and have a conversation with us. But that was the non-English-speaking world. But Western civilization has felt, in general, like we've been lost. That nobody was hearing us, you know, and that's why so many people around the world are MAGA. Netherlands, Israel, Australia, the UK, all over the world, people are MAGA. Brazil, Argentina, right? People are MAGA because they know with Trump, our civilization is going to survive. You know, what I was telling the last caller is in the United States, we don't know who the leaders of any of these other countries are. I mean, very few. I mean, that's just... You know, and the reason for that is the other country, there are very few countries in the world that if they didn't exist all of a sudden would have an impact on the world today, right? Like the Netherlands. If the Netherlands shut down business today, would you even notice? You know, not to take away from that great caller we had, but the United States, when you've heard over the years that the president of the United States is the leader of the free world, that's kind of been almost like a rhetoric, like a talking point that people have not really, people say it, but, you know, oh, okay, you know, whatever. But it's really true when you have a good leader, whether it's President Trump or Ronald Reagan. I shouldn't say a good leader, a great leader. And that's why it's so important. You know, we got a guy in the Netherlands who is passionate about President Trump's return to save Europe. Not just the United States, because these globalists, these leftists, these Democrats in this country are trying to start a third world war over there. You know, if you got a guy in the Netherlands that's so passionate about Donald Trump, how can you give him a hard time about Speaker Johnson? Now, I want to tell you, this is a story I talked about earlier in the show. I don't know how much play this is going to get. I saw it in the Gateway Pundit. During the show, I'm starting to see that it's picking up on X, but it turns out that the Vegas Cybertruck bomber, that he is not only pro-Ukraine, and when I say pro-Ukraine, I mean he's pro-war. There's a photograph of him with his wife, and he's wearing a T-shirt that says "Glory to Ukraine." And I know this photograph is real because I saw this photograph of him with his wife in the mainstream press yesterday. I didn't notice the shirt. He's wearing a backpack. The shirt's partially obscured. But the Gateway Pundit, somebody noticed it over there, and it says "Glory to Ukraine." And then we find out that this is the Cybertruck bomber, that he's been on leave from the Army. He was stationed in Germany. He's on leave. How long that leave is, I don't know. Well, it's permanent now, but I don't know how long the leave was for. We haven't got a lot of information about that, but it's come out that he was recruiting former military as mercenaries to go and fight for Ukraine, which is the same exact thing that the golf course shooter was doing. So we have an assassination attempt on President Trump, and now we have a bombing in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas. Both of these guys were involved in recruiting fighters, American service people, to go and fight for Ukraine. I mean, who would be behind that? Who would be behind that? You know, I was talking yesterday or the day before on the show. I talk so much I lose track, but it was either yesterday or the day before. I was talking, you know, who's behind these attacks? You know, is it and I said something, and some people called in and people said no, this is not that. For these Islamic lunatics to commit these terrorist attacks right now is really insane, because Trump's coming back in less than 3 weeks, and Trump doesn't play, and there'll be major retaliation. You hear how he's talking to the Palestinian terrorist in Gaza about the hostages lately. So why would terrorists start something now? Because they're going to get wiped out by Trump. And I said, well, maybe way, way deep down behind this, could it be the military-industrial complex? Because Trump's promising to end these wars. And could they be trying to get something started here that Trump can't get out of? And now that we've got this Ukraine connection to this guy in Vegas, maybe there is something to that. I don't know. But I do know this, that there's no way these two incidents are not connected. Too much on the same day. Too many similarities between the two guys and the trucks and all that stuff. You guys know. I don't have to go through that with you again. And they've already told us there's no connection. This fact that he is recruiting mercenaries, which means he's networking with military people, which could show that, you know, they like to say that these two guys, yeah, they were at Fort Bragg, but there's a lot of guys there. They may not have known each other. Well, if this guy was involved in networking former soldiers, is it not possible he connected with this guy outside of the normal army? Of course. And how could they determine so quickly? And why are they so obsessed with establishing there's no connection without any investigation, on top of the fact that they let this reporter go through the New Orleans shooter's house when it's still filled with electronic equipment and contaminate the crime scene, and God only knows what else they could take something. Who knows? Never seen anything like this. There's most definitely a cover-up involving these two incidents, and we may never know, because evidence could be destroyed if they're letting reporters go through the guy's house. Who else are they letting in there, right? You know, and I did tweet on X the reporter that was going through the New Orleans terrorist house, and you could see that she goes to this area that she says is a bomb-making station. Looks like a laptop there, and there's his Quran and stuff is there. So I mean, come on, you know, the only reason you would do that is to damage the crime scene. I mean, this is insane. So there's obviously an effort to destroy evidence prior to Trump and Kash Patel coming in, because some of these things may never be solved. Also, with this guy with the Cybertruck, with this new Ukrainian connection, you know, which I find it surprising. Some people may say, "Oh, I'm not surprised." That surprises me. It really surprises me. There's so many unanswered questions about this. You know, they're saying that he took his own life before the bomb detonated. How did he work that out? was it a timer? The sheriff in Vegas has been pretty open and decent, and we've gotten a lot of good information from him. But that's odd. Did he take his own life? Do we know? They said they found a gun at his feet. Do we know, or did somebody else take it for him? And how long after that until the explosion? There's so many things we don't know. And the media, as always, they're not interested in getting to the bottom of anything. Now, we're going to take our last break. Steve and I have something coming up that I'm going to tell you about after the break. We have a little bit of announcement that we're going to do that I think you all, many of you, will be interested and excited about. Stay tuned for that. We'll take some more calls, and there's a couple other topics we got to touch on, too. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening, 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Hey, it's Brian. How you doing? I'm in a different location today. That's why I'm calling. I'm gonna put you on hold. You're gonna hear music, and then when I pick you up, we'll be on the air. Okay? Great. Hold on. Okay. 30 seconds. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. And on the line from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca for the final gold and precious metals report of the first week of 2025, we have William Youngerman. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
The metal's looking very good on the first trading day of the new year. We've seen gold up $32.60 yesterday, closing out the day at $2,657.20 the ounce. Silver gaining 65 cents, closing at $29.51, while platinum was up $16 at $9.21, and palladium gained $3 at $8.97. This morning we got a little bit of a pullback from that big gain yesterday, down $12.80 at $2,645 the ounce. Silver up another 29 cents at $29.80 the ounce. Platinum up $13 at $9.34. And palladium up $13 at $910 the ounce. So the market's doing real good going into the new year.
Absolutely. You know, when it comes to 1 ounce gold, what are some of the best buys going on right now where you're getting the most gold for your money and some of the best deals?
Yeah, still we like the Australia's Perth Mint Kangaroos. Beautiful, pure 999 fine gold coins encapsulated in little plastics to protect them, and they are one of our favorite products.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m., and at William Youngerman's, all the metals are available for immediate delivery. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can give them a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday.
Okay, have a nice weekend.
All right, take care, and we are back. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. So I want to let you guys know, Steve and I, we decided to do this yesterday. We were talking after the show, and this is something we did 8 years ago, and we're going to do it again this year. On Inauguration Day, which is the 20th, and I do believe that is a Monday, right? Monday, January 20th at high noon is when the president gets inaugurated. Noontime on Monday, January 20th. And Steve and I are going to be at Wings Plus in Coral Springs on Sample Road watching the inauguration, and you are all invited. And we did this 8 years ago when President Trump was inaugurated the first time, because they have great televisions at Wings Plus. It's, for the football and basketball and all the games. But on Inauguration Day, they'll be turned on the president, okay? We'll be watching President Trump's inauguration. We did this 8 years ago when President Trump was inaugurated the first time, and we called it the Bye-Bye Bama Bash Hello Trump Celebration. So we're doing that again, except this time it's Bye-Bye Biden Hello Trump Term 2 Celebration. So we'll be there Monday, and I'd recommend the inauguration is at noon. And you want to be there and in place and at your table enjoying wings. And you can have a cold one if you want. I'll be drinking a Coke, maybe a beer. I might have a beer. I don't know, on a Monday, maybe. But I'll definitely be having the wings. And we're going to watch President Trump be sworn in again together. I would recommend you get there around 11:30 so you can have your seat and be in place. And the Wings Plus Sample Road location is located, of course, in Coral Springs, about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. All right? About a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. Steve and I do not do a lot of personal appearances, so you will not want to miss this one. And it's going to be a great time. It's just going to be a great time. I mean, who would have thought this would have happened again? It's an absolute miracle. The second inauguration of President Trump. It's exciting. I mean, the last inauguration with Biden was the first inauguration in my entire life that I did not watch. The only one. But I'll be watching this one, and you're all invited to watch it with us, okay? And you'll hear us talk a lot about it, so make sure you tell all your friends and bring them along with you. Okay, now remember, though, it's the Sample Road location of Wings Plus in Coral Springs, just so you know. All right, our number 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We're getting some more information on the New Orleans guy, more so than the Vegas Cybertruck bomber. But they started this thing yesterday that I thought was just very strange. They keep saying that he was inspired by ISIS. And when they say inspired by ISIS, it's like they're making excuses for ISIS. When it comes to January 6th, I've never said, inspired by MAGA, inspired by Trump's fault. But with ISIS, it's not their fault. He was just inspired by them. It doesn't even make sense, does it? Well, it does to them because, they're always on the wrong side. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
On the,
oh, here we go. Yep. You're on. Turn down the volume in the back.
The Vegas.
Fall back?
No, turn down the volume in the background. Whatever you're listening to me on. Okay, go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm sorry. Tom, Florida. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Tom. How you been?
Okay, buddy. I'm doing good. You should call it the BBB celebration. Use the acronym. Sounds more, I don't know.
What would BBB?
But,
Bye-bye Biden
BBB.
bash. Hello, Trump.
Bye-bye Biden.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just saying we're getting close to the 20th, man, and I'm wondering when this Ukrainian-Russian thing's going to end before he gets in office. When do you think that might happen?
Well, what I think is that he's putting that we've had two major incidents against President Trump that are Ukrainian-backed, right? The golf course shooter was connected to Ukraine. The bomber of the Cybertruck in Vegas in front of Trump Tower was connected to Ukraine. So it looks like people that are supporting Ukraine do not want the war to end. So hopefully soon. No, they don't want the war to. The Vegas Cybertruck bomber, we find out, has been recruiting ex-military to go fight in Ukraine against Russia. So the pro-Ukrainian people, for some reason, they don't want the war to end, which seems very bizarre. I mean, people die in wars.
I would love the war to end.
So you support Trump then? Great, awesome.
It's horrible all around.
You're on the Trump train.
To be honest with you?
No, be dishonest, Tom. Be dishonest.
Well,
aren't you always honest?
It's a little bit unfortunate that we have to, I think we got to wait a couple more days before we start throwing all these accusations. I mean, one of these guys was an American, born in America. I believe both of them were born in America.
What does that mean?
Well, basically, that means that takes your border theory that, all these terrorists are coming over the border, and that tosses it right out the window.
Who has that theory? Who had that theory?
Just like
who had that theory?
You said it the other day.
No, they said the story was listen, when there's breaking news like a terrorist attack, okay? When you're discussing breaking news, facts come in and then you get clarification. What was reported was that the truck in New Orleans within the last couple of weeks went through Eagle Pass. That was reported in multiple sources, including CNN, that the truck in the New Orleans attack went through Eagle Pass. So we're not supposed to mention that fact that was reported? I don't understand.
Why would they? Okay, all right. So I guess they brought the Tesla through the border?
No, not the Tesla. See, you don't even know what you're talking about, Tom. Oh my God, a new year, new year,
you're saying that,
and you're still the same.
Okay,
the truck in New Orleans, right? The truck that was used in the New Orleans attack, a week or two before the attack, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 weeks, but within the last 2 weeks, had gone through Eagle Pass at the southern border. That was reported. No one said Mexicans did it. No, but the truck went through the border at Eagle Pass.
What do you think they went down there to get?
I don't know. We don't have
the GPS and everything.
I don't know.
Well, let's I guess let's let the reporting come out. And,
oh my goodness, the reporting come out.
Well, let me ask you a quick question. Do you think that recruiting people to send over to Ukraine is a bad thing?
Yes.
Yes, you do. All right.
Yeah, because first of all, I'll tell you why. This guy in the Cybertruck explosion was recruiting. He was recruiting ex-military to fight as mercenaries for Ukraine. He is active.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
He was in the U.S. Army. He was on leave from the Army, but he was still in the Army. I would imagine it is illegal for a U.S. Army soldier to recruit fighters on their spare time to go fight against another country. No, that sounds criminal. No, that's very bad.
It's also odd, too. It's like, Trump says he's going to end the war, and then
if you're recruiting, if you're recruiting people that are soldiers to go and fight for Ukraine against Russia, what are you recruiting people to do?
Stop Russia from
kill.
Occupying
You're
Ukraine.
Recruiting people to kill. So
let me ask you a question.
We got a U.S.
What did Russia do in North Korea? What did Russia do in North Korea?
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So it's okay. It's okay for Russia to do all these things, but when
what?
Man, listen.
You're very confused, Tom. This is a guy who
I'm not confused. What I'm confused about is this.
What?
Donald Trump in his debate said that he's going to end the Ukraine war before he is president.
We're not there yet.
Okay?
He's got 17 days.
Yet.
He's got 17 days. Maybe he'll do it.
I will bet you $1,000.
I'm not gonna. I don't gamble.
Oh, that's right. You don't bet. I know you're not a bettor.
No, I'm not a gambler.
Gosh, I mean, I wish there was something that I could symbolize to you that I don't think that war is going to end before you.
Don't you want it to end? Don't you want it to end?
I do.
I can tell.
I don't. As I said, why do you think that I have always been?
This is what I know. This is what I know. Two people committed.
Okay?
Two people connected to Ukraine and their government. One tried to shoot President Trump. The other one just blew up something in front of his hotel. So,
Brian, I have never heard, except for on your show, this is the first time that I've ever heard of Ukraine connection towards anything.
Well, I'm ahead of a lot of the news. I'm ahead of the game on this. I'm breaking news on the program.
You also will read stuff off the internet that isn't fact checked or whatever.
That's not true.
Like a story.
That's not true. I use trusted sources. There's multiple. There's a.
I guarantee you,
the Gateway
if you
Pundit.
hang up on me, baby, JJ from Mass will call.
Go to
you know what I'm saying right away.
I tweeted a story. I tweeted a story from the Gateway Pundit, which is a credible news outlet. TheGatewayPundit.com is their website. There's a photograph that I've seen in almost every mainstream media account of the Vegas bomber. There's a photograph of him with his wife, and he's wearing a pro-Ukraine T-shirt in it. And now we find out.
What?
And well, then we find out he's recruiting mercenaries to fight in Ukraine, which is what the golf course shooter was doing.
Once again. So what? If you find me bank records and stuff like that you
bank records. What am I, a forensic accountant? Listen, we've had one guy try to shoot.
Sound like you know what you're talking about.
Tom, we've got one guy who tried to shoot Trump at the golf course, who's recruiting mercenaries to fight in Ukraine. We got a guy that blew up a
shot.
We got a guy in front of Trump Tower in Vegas blows up a truck who's doing the same thing, recruiting mercenaries. That means there's a connection between these attacks on Trump and Ukraine. All right, Tom, have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. Oh my goodness. Oh man, if you're on hold, hang in there because we'll be back live Monday morning at 6 a.m. And if you remain on hold, you'll be first in line on Monday's show. By the way, guys, you'll have a great time. You come and join Steve and me and our great listeners, of which you are, at Wings Plus on Inauguration Day, the 20th. Steve Kane and I will be there. It is the Sample Road location of Wings Plus, about a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road. Get there about 11:30, so you have your table and you're in place with your wings and your Coke and your beer, whatever it is, or your sweet tea while we're watching the liberal tears flow as President Trump is sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. I can't wait. It's very exciting. All right. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. See you Monday morning at 6 a.m. Take care. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, okay? And if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video, all right? Take care. I'll see ya. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Great call.